coming.
Vibes.
I have Vanity Gorgeous, or is it Gorgeous Vanity Gucci?
Either or. Vanity Gorgeous.
Legendary Gorgeous Vanity Gucci. Thank you for coming here. I'm happy to be here. Like, you, one of the main reasons I doubled back to New York. I definitely had to get you. I'm sorry, like last time I came here, you was, booked and busy, but we made it work this time. So
thank you. It's an absolute honor to stay here with you. It's a pleasure.
No, definitely. Like, I think a lot of people, a lot of my favorite people that I see voguing and stuff like that, I don't know anything about them. So I think I personally want to change that. I don't want to just have voguers just only be about dancing. I want to know, where y'all came from, what goes in y'all brains, how y'all think. I want to, humanize y'all a little bit. So I'm very excited for this.
I'm here for it.
First, how did you first even get introduced to ballroom?
I feel like ballroom was in my blood. I never actually was able to have one of those iconic moments like how Ashley has Jasmine and how like those sibling, situations in ballroom. Right. But my sister, who was trans, was originally in ballroom. And my biological sister. And her name was Marcella Ebony. She was Ebony. And she used to walk, and mind you, and there is actually a glimpse of her in Paris is Burning. Walking one of the categories, just walking one of the categories. I think it was like Fag Out or some shit. Excuse my language, but it was of some sort like that. And, but I feel like ballroom was in my blood. My cousin was also a legendary runway walker in the House of Ebony, named by Chauncey Ebony. And him and Marcy was really close, like they were best of friends. So when it came down to me, I was already exposed to ballroom because I was just grew up in the Kiki scene prior. So Chauncey, I had a conversation. I told him that I would love to join the House of Ebony. So I wound up joining the House of Ebony for Midget Runway. Right. So regular Butch Queen Midget Runway, I wound up winning the Prodigy by Numbers Ball back in 2005 for Virgin Runway. So that really exposed me to a lot. But I always knew it was female figure performance. My first ball was 2005 Latex Ball, where it was Femme Queen Performance bringing a video vixen, a video hoe where you had Janice and you had Roxy and you had Alora, and just watching them hit that runway, and Champagne, that was my mother. And so watching them hit that runway, it was like, oh my God, and the way that Selvin gave them all introductions as they were getting their 10s, I think that was one of those pivotal moments for me to know, this is who I am. This is what I want. I want those type of introductions. I want that type of entity when you hit that runway, you just completely someone else.
I came from an era, if you was in my house, if you wasn't eating it, I wasn't picking you. Are you listening to me?
You name those people who are very talented ladies. Were they some of the ones that inspired you when you started seeing clips and started seeing stuff online, or?
I mean, it was beyond inspiration. I mean, I'm from New York City, born and raised, and so are these individuals. So I could just go to Christopher Street, the Village, and wind up seeing these people just being themselves with a little bit of an ego from people just knowing them from Ballroom and stuff like that. Because, like, that was a community right there. Like, that's like going to a family reunion on a daily basis and just kicking it with your family.
And Christopher Street ain't around anymore, is it?
I mean, it still is a place. It's just not as amped up as it used to be.
And why is that?
I mean, a lot of the old businesses closed and stuff like that. So, like, Chi-Chi's was like one of the main pubs on Christopher Street where people like were, if one was infamous for their wings and infamous for their spades games. So I'm happy, like, right before they closed, I had the opportunity of being a part of that and actually experiencing it. But a lot of the businesses closed. The cops started to chastise a lot of people. So I think that also will push people from, like, not wanting to be in those areas, you know?
For what?
Like, it just was one of those things, like, you can't be out here, the Village is closed, like, go somewhere. Like, it was of those things, you can't stand on this block, keep walking. You know, like, it was just a lot of those things that will push a person away, especially when they don't care for authority, to be like, nah, I'm not gonna go to onto the city tonight.
Do you feel like it was because of maybe homo or transphobia? Or was it something else that was going on with?
I mean, it could have been of homotransphobia, also like around Christopher Street off of, I forgot the actual avenue, but it was also known as like a little stroll, you know? So like there was definitely some prostitution and escorting going on in the vicinity. It could have been a plethora of many things, but for me, it was a lot to grasp at the age of like, because I got exposed to the Village at a very young age due to a school trip. So it was a lot to take in and not be aware of what was happening around me, you know, because I would just be so caught up in like certain little things. So I think, I don't know what the cops' purposes were for being grouches on Christopher Street. But I think it definitely pushed a lot of people away. It definitely ruined the excitement of anticipation that a person would build just to go to Christopher Street, just to walk up and down Christopher Street like 10 times. Like, because at the end of the day, when you would walk up and down, you would just see someone new, you know? Yeah. And it's like a celebration every time you link up type of stuff, so.
It was really like, I get, it was kind of like a fallout, like after a club type of feel. Where everybody just out having a good time. It let out.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so it's sad to see, you know, you say that nobody's really up there no more. Like,
I mean, the youth is definitely utilizing it. Like, we've, of course, lost a couple of ballroom legends and icons as of recent. So, like, a lot of people have been utilizing the space to throw, like, visuals and stuff like that. Yeah. I think they still, like, of course, once the pandemic is no longer a current thing, like, they'll probably go back to throwing bowls on the pier again, you know? Like, the pier has a lot to do with a person's growth and educational purpose, especially when it comes to just being LGBTQ plus and just being a part of Ballroom. Like, a lot of people learned how to Vogue on the pier, you know? People would just go to the pier just to see people cut a rug and Vogue down, you know?
Yeah. And the pier, that's near Christopher Street?
It's like, yeah, just keep walking down Christopher Street and there's two piers. The first pier is like the relaxation pier, and the second pier is like the congregation pier.
Okay. I never seen the pier. I've seen Christopher Street. I've been on Christopher Street before, but I've never seen the pier part.
Yeah.
So what? And you've always lived in New York City?
Always lived in New York City.
What borough are you from? The Bronx?
I'm from Manhattan, Harlem.
Harlem. Okay. What is the best part about Ballroom for you? That you've since you've just been in the scene. What is the best part?
Family. Like, I think just going there just to have fun and let loose, you know, have phone conversations and make plans around, oh, we're gonna see each other at the ball, you know, we're gonna see each other here and there. Oh, show me what you got new. And then like little challenges of saying like, oh, you ain't got it, you know, you can't do this, you can't get your tens tonight. Hell, you can't even sit me. So like those little challenges would be like, oh, I'm going out tonight. I'm going to show out tonight. I'm going to sit this itch, and I'm going to have a grand time. So like, it was definitely family. I think family excited me and hyped me up to want to come out and want to do a lot of things, and you know.
Yeah. So, the first house you joined was
Ebony.
And what first attracted you to even want to really even want to be in Ebony?
Family. Again, sister was a part of Ballroom, and she happened to be my trans sister happened to be a part of Ballroom, so she was already like a Ebony back in the day. And then I had a cousin who was an Ebony, and then like my father at the time, my gay father was an Ebony, so it just felt like home, you know, home away from home.
Transitioned to Prodigy.
I wound up leaving, and I pretty much begged to be a Prodigy because I was new to voguing, especially in drags. Like, I was still going through the name of Curly Ebony from leaving Ebony because that was what my name was. So when I came to Prodigy, they was like, who's Vanity? You know, like I didn't have that rapport yet. And Andre, who was known as Ballroom DVDs, that used to always record all the balls back in the day, he was a Prodigy then. He was a Chanel Prodigy Mizrahi. And he vouched for me. He was like, no, I've seen this kid. This kid is growing up, and this kid has something to offer. And they said, all right. And I was a Prodigy.
And from Prodigy, you went from Prodigy to Mizrahi.
Actually, no. So I was at Ebony. I left. Got threatened by Cabbage for leaving. Became a Prodigy. There was something happening with myself. It was always like a love-hate relationship with me and the Prodigies. Prodigy weekend will always surround around my birthday. So it was either my birthday or Prodigy weekend. And I would always choose my birthday. And especially because around that time, the Latex Ball was also in that same time frame. So it was just, I would always choose my birthday. So it was a love-hate relationship. I wound up leaving, or kicked out. I don't really recall at that time, but I wound up leaving and I became a con. And that's when Selvin was running the NYC chapter. And that was definitely experience, but it was also short-lived. And I wound up going back to Prodigy.
Why did you leave, and why did you join and leave Con so fast?
I think what was so dope about Con is that it was youthful, especially the NYC chapter. We knew everybody. We all knew each other, you know? So it was like a clique, but it didn't feel like family. Prodigy felt like family.
And that's why you went back.
Yeah, that's why I had to go back.
And so what made you just leave Prodigy and become a Mizrahi? Because that's when
They kicked me out.
Oh, wow.
in a shady way, they kicked me out. God bless the dead. One of my favorite sisters, Ronisha, winds up joining the House of Prodigy. Of like the strength of me, like it was like, oh, they was like, why you want to be a prodigy? She was like, oh, because my sis Vanity's a prodigy, and they gave, oh, she's not a prodigy, and then they
What year was this?
This was in 2000, end of 2012. Because I wound up becoming a Mizrahi early 2000, like literally 2013, like New Year's Day, I became a Mizrahi. And yeah, she called me, she was like, did you know, like, you're not a prodigy? And I was like, I didn't know. Like, they tried to gag me, like, wait till I walk the next function and come out as Vanity Prodigy, and then hit me with the, no, she's not a prodigy. So I didn't know, that was my assumptions. But yeah, I got the boot, me and a couple of others, and I went to Mizrahi and I stayed loyal to Mizrahi. And when Kelly picked up the phone and said, all right, come to Gorgeous Gucci, I'm gonna come to Gorgeous Gucci because I'm loyal. Yeah.
So was it hard to like, was it hard to make that whole transition?
Which one?
From Mizrahi to Gorgeous Gucci. Because it's basically like the same people, right? But at the same time, it's the same people, but without Andre, I guess. Is it?
It's definitely a way different, more format. Compared Mizrahi, it was definitely unified and unification within the house, but it also felt like it was missing something.
In Mizrahi.
In Mizrahi, I can never put my hand on what it felt like it was missing, but it felt like it was missing something. When I became a Gorgeous Gucci, it felt like there was more of a good energy about it. Like, it just felt like we're all here to make a mark. We're all here to make a statement. We're all here to have fun, and we're all here to like be a family. And I didn't feel like I felt the family orientation within Mizrahi, but Gorgeous Gucci, it just felt like we're all back together, and then this is what just felt right.
Yeah, I can understand that. So, when that whole thing happened, when Andre like basically like said what he said or whatever, and everybody was like mad at him, did you personally feel attacked or?
Me and Andre was never really close. Like, we knew of each other, but there was no rapport, like a personal rapport between him and I. Like, my connections was to Jack and Kelly. So when Andre said what he said, it took me back a little, but it wasn't like I'm gagging. It was something I could expect coming from him.
I interviewed Didi, or Delicious, excuse me.
Love her.
Coming out in a couple weeks, and she said she didn't really care because it didn't apply to her.
And yeah, and that's how I felt as well. But at the same time, if I'm seeing everybody else jump ship, and obviously this is not the place to feel, it also gave me like, okay, this is the opportunity to up jump the buggy and just keep it pushing. And I didn't go nowhere else. I didn't have no plans to go nowhere else. I stayed at 007, regardless of what other houses like, you know, put out invitations and stuff like that. I was just like, nah, like, I want to see what Jack is going to wind up doing before I just make any subtle changes in movement.
Okay, and that's dope, because that does show actual loyalty to your people.
Love them.
So what? Because when I first became a fan of you, I was watching you walk Drag's performance. I personally never seen you out. Like, I never seen you not in drags, and now you are a femme queen. Did you become a woman before you got deemed or after?
All right, so with deeming, I never really got deemed. It was like I got deemed, but I didn't get deemed. It was like the Heritage Ball, one of the main last times that Selvin was really on the mic, and she called us out, me and Pumps, and said like on some up and coming legend type of stuff, you know? And it was one of those things where like I felt like it was a bit of solidification for me, because Selvin has a huge part of my growth. Jack has a huge part of my growth. Kevin has a huge part of my growth. So, like, when Selvin had said that, it was just like, all right, you know, it is what it is. And once I started seeing personal old rivals of mine becoming legendary, it was one of those things, like, I'm not going to hate on you for being legend. I'm not going to read. But I'm gonna storm, you know? And I just felt like if I storm and y'all not saying nothing about it, then it is what it is. And that's why I told you earlier, I think when it comes to ballroom, everything is a matter of perception. And what you view as and what you see others as, you know? And I just felt legend, so I just stormed legendary performance at the Latex Ball.
I mean, would you be considered legendary?
It's a conflict. It like for me, like I consider myself to be a legend. I know what I deserve and I know what I've done within my community and within ballroom, you know? And I've had amazing rivalries with Star, with Veronica, with Remy, and these are all people who are also fellow legends, you know? So yeah, I definitely know I am a legend. I know a lot of other people see me as that. But I also don't mind fighting in the ballroom terms to really get the solidification and the respect of doing so. Because there are a lot of people who wind up transitioning and being known for either being a between Vogue femme and becoming a female figure or a trans woman, or from drags to trans, you know? And I don't want to just be Vanity, a legendary performer. I want to be able, if they ever have legendary femme queen performance, to earn the right to walk legendary femme queen performance. So I don't mind like walking femme queen performance categories to gain that respect as well.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Yeah, and that was actually going to be like a part of my next question is like, you know, you made such a big name by walking a drags category. Did you feel like it was a little bit hard to make people respect you as a woman throughout your transition?
No, I mean, I never transitioned for anybody else. I did it for me. If I did do it for anybody else, I would have been transitioned years ago. And I've already seen the downfall of many of my peers transition and do it for ballroom, you know, and then gag after they do it for ballroom to the point now it's like, well, I'm a girl, I'm just gonna benefit for the money purposes, you know?
Not why, but like, people actually transition for ballroom?
Because they just see the glam and the hypeness that comes with it, you know?
But it's like after the ball is over, you still...
But a lot of people don't see it like that. A lot of people just see it as the hype that, oh my God, look at Sanaya, look how she looks. She just looks so sexy. It's the voluptuous titties. It's how the people are going crazy for her. Like, I want that, you know? Like, a lot of people think like that, you know? Like, a lot of people don't realize the process of becoming, you know? And people don't also realize it's something that has to be a feeling within you, you know? Like, I always had the feeling within me, but I didn't want to be like a lot of other girls where I've seen for myself, I don't want to be homeless. I don't want to live my life from hotel to hotel to hotel to hotel. I'd rather have my life put together for myself in order to fully go through a process of growth in life where I know I don't have to struggle and I know I don't have to survive.
And that's been a reality for you?
That was my reality and that was my plan. That's what I wanted to do because I didn't want to stress myself out.
Right. Well, that's what's up. So, to somebody that might be watching this right now that is looking at Vanity and maybe they want to get in the ballroom, or hell, maybe they want to like transition. Maybe they already in ballroom, they walk this category, but they want to transition into a woman. Like, what advice would you give them to?
One, what's for you is for you, and what's for me is for me. But at the same time, I definitely do say, do your research. Research on what hormones is, what hormones can do to you besides give you a growth sprout. Like, it's really giving, do your research. You know, like a lot of people follow through with transitioning and realize hormones could really challenge your mind in many ways. Excuse me. Hormones could challenge the mind in a way where you could be a stone cold individual before you even touch hormones. You could not be able to cry. You could be the most shadiest person. And once you get a dose of a hormone shot, your emotions go radical. Your mind just feels like now you're just not in one place, but you're in so many other places, you know? Then you just start to really be more critical of yourself than you probably ever been in your life, you know? Because a lot of people can't take the weight and gain. A lot of people can't take the emotional factor of just being too emotional. A lot of people can't handle the thoughts of what comes with, or the outside thoughts of, oh, you're a man still, or, oh, you're this and the third. You know, a lot of people can't handle that. And a lot of people don't realize, you know, the ups and downs of, you know, changing your life in a 360 kind of form, you know? So, like, I'm just saying, like, I've seen a lot of people and had a whole lot of conversations, because even that was something for me where I didn't understand the process of detransitioning, you know? Like, I don't even see that as an option for myself. I just, because I'm in love with who I am today. And I love myself way more than I have ever did in my past, just because I'm living in my truth. But then there's a lot of people who can't handle what they figure was their truth, you know? So I would definitely say do your research.
Yeah, most definitely. And not just for trans people. I feel like it's everybody's on this earth job to ultimately love themselves.
Yeah.
But you'd already be there. I feel like you already, you know, got most of the fight down. So.
And hormones can make you question and love for yourself. Like, it could really, like, when I say it can challenge your mind, it could truly challenge the mind.
Yeah, I know girls be having like mood swings on hormones, but I didn't know it was like as intense as you're describing it though.
Yeah, even like after dealing with other guys of trans experience as well, not just from the female point, but from the male point, like they don't have it easy either with like testosterone and like going through all these feelings and just, you know, realizing like it's rage within, you know? But I definitely say do your research. Don't rush your process if you do choose to transition. I believe in at the end of the day, you got to take your time in everything that you do. You got to learn everything, you know, the aspects of what's going to happen before, what's going to happen after, you know? So even when it comes to plastic surgeons and surgeries, do your research. Research what doctor you're going to give the opportunity to even touch you, you know? Because your body is sacred. So you can't just allow anybody access to that, you know? Yeah.
So, that is very smart, and I'm glad. You know, I hope there's a lot of girls watching this or future girls that's watching this that will take that.
It's just individuals who just don't know how to go about living in their truth, you know? Because a lot of people could already feel like who they are, but they just don't know how to bring who they feel like to life, you know? So it's just really all about living in your truth and just being happy with yourself, you know? Don't do nothing for nobody else, and don't try to live for nobody else. Do it for you.
I hear that. So, I forgot to ask you one thing. Like, you may have already answered it though. Like, what is your hottest moment at a ball?
My hottest moment at a ball, I kind of mentioned earlier to you, which was the latex ball. When I walked in 2008 as a Prodigy, and it was Tap the Bitch You Want. And I wound up battling one of my close friends at like one of the first battles of the night, Veronica.
DJ, pump the beat. Pump the beat. Now! Get that bitch down. Get that bitch down. Get that bitch down. Can't never live so well. Ow! Get that bitch down. that bitch, walk, get that bitch, walk, get that bitch, pop, get to the slam, out, one, two, three, and hold that hold. 1, 2, 1, 3, 4, 5. It seems like you did get that bitch.
And I got her, and she was like one of the hottest drags at that time, you know? So like I've already set the bar for myself, so everybody just kept tapping me. And Deshaun was like, girl, the girls want you, you know? And I guess I could only get but so far, so I got sat in the second to last battle by Tamira. But it was one of those things where I also realized it's not about winning, it's about the moment. And I think that's when a lot of people realize, all right, vanity is about that life. You know, like regardless of what you set, you know, give whatever challenge you set before me, I'm always gonna get hyped up to like hurdle through it.
Yeah, most definitely. And I feel like Ballroom gives you that competitive edge. It's already there for everybody, but it's like it awakens it, you know? So.
It does something to a person, especially when people start to recognize you that's not even a part of Ballroom, you know? But just love to be a Ballroom spectator online. And that's why I love like what YouTube has offered to me, because like my whole growth and my whole life is up on there. Like as far as Butch Queen Vogue fame, and then doing little runway stuff to all drag stuff, and now just me being who I am in my own truth today. I believe like I'm thankful for YouTube like having all that available.
Yeah, most definitely. That is the beauty of YouTube, because you can literally put anything on there. It's not until lately where the mainstream is really like attaching onto Ballroom, but before then, like we gotta put our own shit up there. We gotta tell our own story. So
yeah,
I want to thank you for coming here. This has been very insightful. Like I said, I hope not just trans people, but just people in general can watch these and really be inspired. It's one thing to see y'all dance, but it's a whole nother thing to hear y'all intellect, hear y'all viewpoints on life, hear, you know, your story, your journey.
It's always a blessing to touch someone. You know, if you can't touch all, at least you're able to touch one person, just in the aspect of just understanding, you know?
Most definitely. So the last question I got for you is to describe yourself in 5 words or less.
5 words or less. Innovative. Immaculate. An educator. 5 words. Beautiful within and out. And for the 5th word, gorgeous Gucci. That's 2 for you, but yeah. I feel gorgeous and I'm always Gucci, so what's up?
I'm not mad at that at all. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the legendary Vanity Gorgeous Gucci.
Thank you. Thank you, Jay. That was a pleasure.